Hey everyone, this is Bigfoot O'Brien and welcome back to a brand new video. Now the Screencastify has been down for a bit, but today it's back up and running, and today I wanted to share this presentation I made for you guys, and it's one that I'm very excited about, and this is the science of dragons. So in case you didn't know, and let's dive on let's dive on into today's video. First thing we need to understand is the first thing we need to address here is what actually is a dragon. Basically, basically, a dragon is a fantasy reptilian creature that is capable of flight, and in some cultures, being able to breathe fire. Kind of like the tradition, kind of like the fantasies, kind of like the hexapedal and hexapedal, kind of like the hexapedal and quadrupedal dragons, basically of European folklore. The next thing I wanted to talk about is evolution. And also and also and also and also and also that because the creatures that we can actually come close to real life dragons is an extinct race of reptilian flyers known as the pterosaurs. They are more similar. The thing is, they are actually way more similar to dragons in description, except for the fire breathing part. And real dragons have a would have 4 limbs, not 6. Yeah, 4 limbs, not 6. I actually wanted to. I hang on. It was have 4 limbs and not 6 because all creatures on Earth actually from an evolved from a common ancestor who had 4 limbs. And let's get on. Our next aspect is flight. Gonna erase this red rectangle. And just like modern flying animals, dragons would actually have to have strong hollow bones that are capable to hold the creature hold up in the air to to glide and glide and flap their wings. Basically, in other words, they have basically, in simple phrases, dragons would have strong hollow bones, which would enable them to fly. And of course, they would also need a keel, where large, powerful pectoral muscles would need to attach in order to fly and to maintain balance while in the air. Dragons would need a long tail, presumably about half of their body length, to actually balance the entire weight of the body. Now, a few things before we dive, dive next into our next slide. Basically, is that real life dragons is that is that the hard physical features that you would often associate with dragons would not be on dragons, not would not actually appear on dragons themselves, because it adds to the weight of the creature, which will enable them which would which would not which would which would not being able to fly. Basically, in other words, they cannot get off the ground if they have additional weight on them. Hence the need to remove the hence the need to remove the fun, hard physical features that we often depict dragons with, like horns and all that sort of stuff. So in reality, dragons would really not have would not have those would not have those significant features that we often associate with dragons. and it's and there's also a thing. And now let's dive into our next slide. And this is the real dragon wing design based on pterosaurs. We can see that. See, we can have. You can see we have the sternum right here, and also the radius. You have the metacarpals. We have the phalanges, and we have the phalanges of the fourth digit right here. Basically, in other words, this is what a real dragon wing design would most likely be like. Another thing I want to be able to talk about is shrink wrap. It's an issue that I often see that we often depict dragons. The issue in depict the thing that see is I often see an issue basically in how we depict dragons, and that issue is shrink wrapping, which I'll have to admit. And in case you didn't know what shrink wrapping actually means, shrink wrapping basically is the shrinking of the amount of the of flesh, muscle, and connective tissue that to the creature needs to move and stay alive. Basically, in other words, if we were to see realistic dragons, the design would follow a much more suitable body plan bird of a bird. Let's escape for a bit and focus on the bird in flight. Let's try in flight. A bird design. A bird body design. So what I mean by shrink wrapping, what I mean by this is the idea that this is a sort of what I would expect for dragon to have a. This is the sort of thing I would expect. This right here would be the sort of the lower. That right here would be the sort of belly that I would expect to see on a dragon. It'd be more similar to that of a, because it looks like the dragon is because we're shrink wrapping. Thing is, we're shrink wrapping the dragons. You know how the dragons actually had that thing, had well defined body shape that we often associate dragons with, but actually that's what shrink wrapping is. It's making the dragon look malnourished, and this is what it would look like if it had realistic proportions. It would look more like a bird. It would look like a giant reptilian with the body plan of a bird. That's the most realistic interpretation of dragons is. So with that out of the way, this is Matthew O'Brien. Uh, I'm sorry. This is Bigfoot O'Brien, and I will see you soon. Bye. Thanks for watching. And also, this is the point of the video where I ask you to leave a like, subscribe, to leave a like and subscribe so that you never miss another upload. And also, if you want me to respond to your comments, which I'll probably do to make sure to leave a comment down below so that I can review it. So guys, peace out.